I would like to call to order the November 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Johnson County Council. And we will start this evening with roll call.
Pamela Burton,
Present.
Jonathan Myers,
Present.
Melinda Griesemer. Here. John Mallers.
Here.
Michelle Ann Graves. Here. John Dittmers.
He's present via Zoom. Is he hearing us? He's zooming in from Italy, so.
John, can you hear us? John Dittmers. Ron Bates.
Present.
Well, if you get any vocal from him, let us know, okay? All right. So I've asked Miss Grissomer to lead us in invocation. If you'd care to join us, bow your heads, please.
Our Father in heaven, we're so grateful to be here serving the people of Johnson County. We ask for blessing that this meeting can be conducted in a way that is pleasing unto thee. We ask for blessing on our law enforcement and other service workers this evening, that they will be kept safe and held in thy hands. And we ask for these things, Father, in thy Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. To stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next up is approval of tonight's agenda. And we have had a request for something to be added under new business. And we have received it via email last week from Michelle Harder and Melinda Griesemer. And they have asked to be placed on new business for this November agenda to discuss legal representation for Melinda Griesemer. So I would like that to be added to the agenda, or I'll need a first and a second on that, please. Or a motion and a, right? I'll just make that as a motion to add it to the agenda.
I'll make that first motion if I'm able to make that motion on my own behalf.
Melinda, I'm not sure, since you're the one making the request, that we need to do that, but I believe that would be fine. But we'll take a roll call vote.
Oh, you need a second?
I think you just,
I do the first if I'm allowed.
I made the first.
Okay.
So how about I'll do the second, just so there's no.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so this is to approve the agenda as amended, adding this request, right?
Correct.
Jonathan Myers,
No.
Melinda Griesemer,
Yay.
John Mallers,
No.
Pam Burton,
Yes.
Michelle Ann Graves. Yes. John Dittmers.
Is he communicating at all? Doesn't look like we're gonna be, he can't vote.
Ron Bates.
Nay.
It's 3-3.
Okay,
I believe.
I'll put it on. I'll change my vote to a yes.
Okay,
so it is approved 4-2, correct?
yes.
So you will be added to the agenda under new business, and that is
F3.
that would be F3. Okay.
What is the name of that request?
The request on the subject line of the latest email said November agenda item, legal representation for Melinda Griesemer.
Thank you.
And that would be for discussion. Okay, next up is public comments. We asked the agenda items only and limited to 5 minutes per person. So if now is the time, if you would like to discuss anything that's on the agenda that was advertised, you're welcome to come and to the podium. Seeing no one, we'll move ahead with item B, which is approval of an ordinance 2025. This is the second reading. An ordinance granting the recorder's office requests to use monies from the recorder's perpetuation fund to pay operating expenses. The recorder's office salaries, perf, FICA, and medical expenses for 2026. Prepared to take a motion?
I would make a motion to approve item B, approval of ordinance 2025-11 as presented.
A motion by Ms. Grissomer.
No, that was.
I'm sorry, Ms. Graves.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Mallers. So since we don't have him validated to on Zoom to be able, we don't need to do a roll call vote, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, passes.
I would like to thank our recorder,
Absolutely.
Teresa Petro. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
And the taxpayers. All right, so moving on to item C under routine matters, the consent agenda. By a single motion, the board approves the following items, which may include salary ordinance amendments, additional appropriations, reductions and transfers. Any items listed on the consent agenda may be removed by a council member and moved to the regular agenda. So at this point, if there's any items that you would like removed and added to the regular agenda, you can do so. If not, I'm prepared to take a motion.
Motion to approve. Item C, routine matters.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Myers,
Second.
a second by Mrs. Graves. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, passes. Moving on to D under the agenda. Salary ordinance amendments, additional appropriations, reductions and transfers. So first up.
Pam. She's online.
Oh, okay. So, what do you, where,
D1.
You ready for
For Wick.
D1.
Yes, I'm on Zoom.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
You're good.
I have that as Cume Cat.
That's all. You use mine.
Okay. All right, my agenda is a little different. Okay, under D1, we have the Pick WIC program, and that's Tracy. I see you're on Zoom with us.
Yeah, I feel a little bit under weather today. So Tracy Smith, Johnson County WIC coordinator. I'm just here to add a distribution line item for a clinic assistant that was missed during when we came to appropriate money in our line item. Therefore, I just need a transfer into that line item.
I read the letter you submitted. This is more of a business housekeeping thing, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Any discussion?
I have a question, Tracy. This is not a new position, correct? You're just correcting a bookkeeping error.
Yes.
Thank you.
There's no further discussion. Prepared to take a motion.
Move.
Item D1.
Move to approve D1 as submitted.
We have a motion by Mr. Mallers, a second by Mr. Bates. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, passes. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Next up is the cumulative cap development fund. It's the highway bridge. And they are items 2, 3, and 4 on the agenda. And there is our highway director, Luke, on the screen. So.
Good evening, Luke Maston, Highway Supervisor. I have 3 additional appropriation requests. Those are to D2, D3, and D4. These are project-related requests. The cum cap is the first one, 1138. That is for our Bridge 602 project. That is for some additional funding to finalize the design of the project and get that moving towards construction. The item D3 in the local road and street fund is an additional appropriation for our school zone flasher project. This project was awarded some federal exchange funding to construct flashers with speed limit signs at all of the school locations in the unincorporated area of the county. And item D4 in MVH restricted is an additional appropriation for the county's portion of the Whiteland Road and Sawmill Road intersection project. This is a joint project being led by the town of Whiteland, but partnering with the county and with New Whiteland to improve that intersection. And this amount is the amount that was agreed upon in our interlocal agreement.
Okay, I see you're coming up under other business as well, so we should probably do 2, 3, and 4 at this point before we move on.
Yes.
Okay, I know Luke sent lots of information detailing these projects to us. So I'm assuming everyone's had the opportunity to review it. So we'll open the floor if there's any discussion on items 2, 3, and 4 at this time.
Luke, I would say your descriptions with your request to be on the agenda were very clear and self-explanatory. And I don't really have any further questions on those unless there's something you think you need to point out to me.
No, I appreciate that. And these are pretty straightforward project appropriations for different phases of each project.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, I'm prepared to take a motion. I believe we can combine items 2, 3, and 4.
I will make a motion for items D2, cum cap development, D3, local road and street, D4, MVH restricted, as presented.
We have a motion by Mrs. Graves.
I will second, and I also will second the fact that the detail and the description is great. It was great to have all that information.
We have a second by Mr. Mallers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none passes. So next under E 1 and 2 is also the Highway Department. So Luke, if you will do the first discussion, and it is in reference to the adoption of the 2026 Cume Bridge revenue or fund revenue amount. So again, we all received this information. It was very detailed and we've had these discussions before. So I'll let you fill everybody in on where we are and where we're going. And
Sure, thank you. So I'm not sure if Mike Reuter was going to be able to attend tonight, but there have been some discussions, I know with Commissioner West and Mike, about potentially seeding the cumulative bridge fund in the first year that it's reestablished. The thinking is, one, it's going to take a little bit of time to start building up revenue and building up a cash balance in that fund for projects. But two, this might be, if this is something the council is interested in, this might be the best opportunity to do that with a cash balance, but knowing that SB1 changes are coming. This could potentially put the bridge fund in a position where, let's say, worst case scenario, the SB1 changes are not modified or somehow get worse between now and then. Having that extra cash balance in that bridge fund would allow those projects to continue moving forward rather than having to stop those, which we would not want to do. So I tried to explain all of that as best as I could in the memo. It's a little complicated, but generally it's, does the council want to consider like a one-time infusion or seeding of that cumulative bridge fund to get that cash balance going.
Okay, how do items 1 and 2 relate with each other? The second one is for the amount. Uh-oh, we've lost you, Luke. Hang on.
Oh, I muted myself. That's
Oh,
my
there you
fault.
go.
Okay. Okay. So the second item is related to the bridge fund and actually a little bit to this, but they're really separate. When the bridge fund starts in 2026, the first revenue that it will receive is from the first round of tax settlement, which will come in June. We have expenses to pay out of there in the first half of the year. We moved the positions that used to be in the bridge fund and then were moved to the general fund. We went ahead and moved those back to the bridge fund, and we'll have some project invoices that need to be paid as well. So the second item is really more of a loan request for the first half of the year to take a loan from the general fund, approximately $1 million, which is pretty conservative. That will help us pay those expenses through the first half of the year. And then the bridge fund would pay that money back when the June tax settlements are received. This is not unheard of. I've seen it actually happen in the opposite direction in the past, the distant past, where the cumulative bridge fund would provide some funding to the general fund in order to help get through that time period in the tax until the tax settlement receipts were deposited.
Moving back to 1 on the revenue amount. We normally transfer X amount of dollars each year, correct? And this is not
On the
3 million?
So yes, the bridge fund is separate from the general fund, but it's in the same levy. So revenue that is set aside for the bridge fund is revenue that is not received by the general fund. We set that the $3 million per year target to fund the bridge fund for 2026. That would be roughly then $1.5 million received in June and $1.5 million received in December with those tax receipts. So this request would be to ultimately we would be modifying the rates. We let Mike figure that part out, but maybe picking a round dollar amount for 2026. We would reduce the revenue that would go into the general fund and increase the revenue that would go into the cumulative bridge fund for 2026. It's not a cash transfer between the funds. That's not allowed. So it would be adjusting how those property tax receipts are dispersed between the general fund and the bridge fund.
And I know there's been in-depth discussion with our financial advisor, correct?
Yes, Mike's looked at a few different scenarios, and just some round numbers that have been batted around. 2.5 million was essentially the amount that was transferred from the bridge fund to the general fund when the bridge fund was de-established. Now, some of that has been spent. I'm estimating roughly by the end of the year, there should be about $1 million left in the general fund from that original balance from the bridge fund. Initially, the plan was to just continue to spend down that balance in the general fund because we're not allowed to transfer it back.
Right.
This actually could be a way to account for that. And by increasing the revenue that the bridge fund gets, we can essentially remove the expenses that would be remaining out of the general fund. That way, the council doesn't have to try to keep track of the overall cash balance, how much of that remaining amount is intended to be spent on bridges.
Luke, do you know how much of that 2.5 million you've spent? Because I know, I think we were all prepared to move the 2.5 million, but you say it's not all there now?
We have spent, I'm estimating by the end of this calendar year, we will have about 1 million of that left unspent. But this request would potentially be above that amount, again, as kind of that one-time cash infusion to seed the bridge fund. But the added benefit is if it's at least 1 million, we can then separate those bridge and general fund expenses moving forward, so that we don't have to try to track both of those together.
Right. I'm trying to remember back to our budget book or the financial plan, I'm sorry, that Mike provided. Was it the Cume Bridge Fund that he split up from being a $12 million in 1 year and moved that $3 million to 4 consecutive years? Was that a different fund? Amy, do you remember that? What am I thinking of?
It's hard to keep them straight, isn't it?
It is. And I didn't bring my
That-
budget book with me.
That 12 million amount could
Yes.
be the edit fund.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yep. That's what it was. Never mind.
Right.
So this would be a $3 million ask on top of the 2.5 that we had moved out of there when we closed out the Cume Bridge Fund, right?
So the 3 million is essentially what made it through the budget process. As it stands right now, the cumulative bridge fund will receive about $3 million in revenue in 26, and that's the target for future years, obviously depending on how those years look. So that 3 million is kind of the baseline to reestablish the fund and get it started again. So this request would be an amount potentially above that 3 million, again, for the first year. And then, if there's opportunities or changes to SB1 to consider that for future years, that's a possibility. The likelihood is probably not. So again, that's why I'm kind of referring to this as likely a one-time infusion, not something that would continue moving forward.
So in this tonight is just for discussion only, right?
No,
No, we're adopting it.
no, we're at the point,
Okay.
we need to
Make a decision.
make a decision. And what I'm fishing for, Luke, here, and I'm sorry, I don't have my notes with me. I know that the commissioners and Mike Royer and several, there's been several emails and information go back and forth. I know there was a number that Mike recommended, and when I say recommended, he suggested several different scenarios. But I know that there was a number that he supported when we talked about it. Do you remember, was that an additional 3? Or was it, do you remember?
I think that's that 2.5 million number.
Was it 2.5? Because 2.5 SWAT went over.
Yeah, there was discussion, again, just discussion of potentially up to 4 million. But 2.5 on top of the 3 for next year. And I believe in the packet, there was a spreadsheet, may not have been labeled very well, but that was a spreadsheet example that Mike had put together of what the rates might look like in that 2.5 million scenario. And then again, what the actual receipts would be between the two funds in that scenario.
Yeah.
So we're at the point where, and Amy or Mike will have to help me with this, but there's a certain document that's coming after review of our budget. And at
1782.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thank you. So I don't know anything about it other than when that comes, that is kind of the deadline to make this decision. And it sounds like that may come before December or could become before the December meeting.
So what's the dollar amount that you need, the drop dead bottom dollar amount you need?
If you guys just want to approve like a levy to generate 2.5 million.
Is that the number?
That would be the motion, correct?
Okay.
If we stuck with the minimum that was discussed of the 2.5, we would just have to approve the levy that would collect that amount one time.
Yep.
Okay.
And that would just be item 1, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I have a
No,
question.
you go right ahead.
So this is item 4 in our supporting documentation, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, so can you refer me to where it says that? What you're requesting, Luke, in here? So it looks like there's an explanation here about approximately equal to 5.5 million total. So what's your ask?
That 2.5 million or 5.5 million total for the first year is kind of where the general consensus settled in conversations with Mike. What he seemed to be comfortable with in that first year. So the levy for the bridge fund would be set for 2026 to receive 5.5 million. That's the original 3 that we've already budgeted and talked about, plus the additional 2.5 essentially is the request for this evening.
So the 3 million we already committed to, and so you're asking for the 2.5. And that's how we wind up at 5.5 total. Got it. There's that. Thanks, Luke.
Just make sure John got all his questions
Yeah.
answered.
Yeah. I'm
Did
good.
you? Okay. Any further discussion for item 1? For Luke under? If not, I'm prepared to take a motion on item 1 under other business.
I'll take a crack at it. Is it a move to approve changing the levy to make it work, or is it the rate? It's the rate levy. Okay.
A one-time.
A one-time adjustment to the levy to get them the 2.5 million. I thought it was levy.
Right?
Mm-hmm. That's what I have.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Mallers,
Second.
second by Mrs. Graves. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, passes. Okay, on to item 2, Luke, that we're talking about. Explain again what we're looking
Yeah.
for here.
Yeah, I touched on that a little bit, but the bridge fund will not have cash in it at the first of the year. So in January, this is an informational item, but in January, we'll come and request a loan from the general fund for the first half of 2026 that will be repaid in June when the bridge fund actually receives its first revenue deposits.
Again, there's been several emails go back and forth between the commissioners and everyone discussing, and I venture to say it's on here for discussion. So obviously anyone can ask any questions, but it's popular consensus that everyone has agreed to that loan.
I would recommend the loan come from rainy day instead of general fund, just because there's so much activity in the general fund. We could just track it better in rainy day.
It's as broad as it is
It
long
is.
though, as far as loaning.
But if
the
we
money.
had guidance, then we would know to prepare those documents from which fund to borrow it from.
Makes perfect sense. That way there's not as much activity going through that rainy day or through the rainy day as there is the general. Luke, that wouldn't affect you at all,
No.
correct?
No, that'd be perfectly fine.
So we'll open the floor for any additional discussion on the loan.
So who is directing us on this? Is it the commissioners? Is it Mike Reuter? Is it you, Luke? Or a combination of all the above?
I think a combination of the above. We've had some conversations with Mike about this. It's just the result of starting a new fund that receives property tax revenue. There's just no cash in that fund until the first property tax payments are made in June. So this is, again, a one-time loan to help cover any expenses for the first half of the year, paid back in full in June once the bridge fund receives its revenue.
So John, there's payroll in the bridge fund. We get paid the first week of January. There's no cash in that fund. So this temporary loan will allow for that to go through, and it's just a 6-month temporary loan.
Okay, so can the paperwork or the direction be clear as can be that the next presentation in January?
Yes,
Okay.
we'll have like a resolution or ordinance with all this. I just need to know if you guys want to do it make the loan from general fund or rainy day.
I'd say rainy day.
I move rainy day.
I have a question that may be silly, but I guess I should ask it because I feel uncomfortable. We are allowed to loan from fund to fund, okay,
Well, on this.
Temporary loan has to be paid
Not a
in 6
transfer.
months.
within 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking back to some history projects that did well,
Okay, so the.
but we also
consensus is
need to do
rainy-
this.
Yes.
Okay. I'm good with rainy day.
So you just need a popular consensus, Amy, or? you
Yeah.
don't- Okay, I'm good with rainy day.
Ron?
You guys down there were good with rainy
Yeah.
day? So it looks like rainy day rather than general, and then you'll have all the documents prepared in the January meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as you don't go build a canal.
No promises.
Thank you, Luke.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, next on the agenda is, we have, Edinburgh asking for approval of support for the Edinburgh Main Street project. It is, an Okra grant, I believe. Is there anyone here to speak? No? Okay, well, I did, look up what was going on and what they were doing, just because I've seen the commissioners do letters in support, but wasn't aware if we'd recently done any for council. I know this is totally up to us whether we want to endorse it or not. They're not asking for any financial support at all. I know there has been several letters drafted through the commissioners before on supporting other Okra projects in the past several years, and there's never been, after talking to them, any harm in, discussing it as a whole council. I personally don't have a problem with a letter of endorsement, and I think there's kind of a standard letter that we provide. So after saying that, I'll open it up for anybody else that might have anything negative or positive to say.
No, I like what they're doing. They're becoming proactive, and Edinburgh is truly a diamond in the rough down there. They're at Main Street, so glad to see them working on it, and I'm for it.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Would we use the letter that was presented by Edinburgh, or does the county have a template?
I would refer Amy to get with legal and see what letter we need to use.
I kind of tweaked it on your letterhead, so. you're
Okay,
good to sign it.
because there's no verbiage in there on commitments of any sort,
Right.
so.
Okay, yeah, I'm good with it.
Mr. Bates?
Same.
Okay, so we do need a motion
Please.
for under business item number 3.
Move to approve item number 3, other business support for Edinburgh Main Street, and using that letter that Amy has tweaked and put on our letterhead.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion by Mr. Mallers and a second by Mr. Bates. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none passes. Number 4, under other business, approval of resolution 2025-03, a resolution of Johnson County Council approving the Bargersville Community Fire Protection District's issuance of fire protection obligation bonds for the purpose of paying for certain improvements and purchasing certain firefighting apparatus and equipment, and adopting additional appropriations for the proceeds of such bonds. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
One moment, please, while we're having technical difficulties.
I don't know. I don't know if I even need it. I was looking at the resolution. Okay.
So is there anyone here that could explain it to us or
I can briefly discuss the resolution if you would
Be-
find it helpful.
it'd be great.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Pam, is that okay?
Absolutely, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Good evening. My name is Gary Smith with Reedy Financial Group. I'm the municipal advisor for the Bargersville Fire Protection District. Before you use a resolution authorizing Bargersville Fire Protection District to issue $6.6 million in general obligation bonds in one or more series for a term of up to 20 years. So the one or more series part, the way we're planning to unpack this over the next 2 years is there'll be basically one bond issued in 2025 that would fund an air pack purchase. It would be a 2-year amortization. And then again, in 2026, we would move forward with roughly a $4.9 million issuance for the fire apparatus purchase. So obviously we're being very mindful of the tax rates. Senate Rolled Act 1 is threw a little bit of a curveball, I think, at a lot of folks with regards to tax rates, controlled project referendums. So it's one of the caps we're up against. But as it sits right now, our plans for 2025, issuing the bonds this year, is to keep the tax rates neutral with 2025 going into 2026. So currently the debt service rate for Bargersville Fire District's just under 7 cents, so about 0.69 total. So that would be our projections for next year with the new certified net assessed values we received this past cycle.
So you're saying for 2026 and 2027, your rates wouldn't change?
So for 2025 going to 2026, our projection is 0.69, and then moving forward, we're being reactive to what CNABs do, essentially. So AVs go down, we're going to take that into consideration. AVs go up again like they did this past year, we'll take that into consideration. The nice thing about the approval process in 20 or more years, it allows us a lot of flexibility at that time when we're funding the fire apparatus to really dial that amortization in a way that is advantageous for the tax rate environment that we're in at that time. That's part of the reason why we set it up that way.
And this has gone through all the proper channels, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Barnes and Thornburg is serving the district as legal counsel.
Gotcha. I don't have any further discussion if anyone else does. I think it's just business as normal.
Well, I guess a question, since you did bring up SB1, so let's say SB1 comes into effect and starting in 27 and 28. Do you foresee any reason that the rates would change? Is there any way the county would be on the hook for any of this money with SB1 changes coming down the pike?
No, it would be a levy, specifically that of Bargersville Fire Protection District. As far as what would happen to the tax rates, that would entirely be contingent on what happens to certified net assessed values. So of course they could ebb and flow. On the other end, if overall assessed values are rising, 10%, for instance, the expected tax rate to service that same debt obligation would come down. So it would work both ways. The Senate Rolled Act 1 restriction is specific to the tax rate cap. So the county has a new cap under Senate Rolled Act 1. The Fire Protection District has a new cap under Senate Rolled Act 1. So if we had, just for an example, if we had a total debt service tax rate in Bargersville of 11 cents, the Fire Protection District would not be able to issue any new property tax debt without a going automatic referendum. So that's their cap. So that's really that's the way that debts are impacted right now for Fire Protection District. And again, counties have their own rates and cities have their own rates as well.
Okay, so in our total, and John, you might know some about this because we've been going through that PowerPoint. So you know how there's just a total percentage rate that we can charge. I think it's at what, 1.9
or 2.9?
or 2.9. Will this affect anything of what the county will be able to collect? Do you know? I'm sorry, it's just so new and everyone's so unclear what it's about.
Yeah, it is a good question.
Okay.
And so the thing that we normally get when we look at something like this, as significant as this, is how does that affect the dollar amount? An assessed valuation for, $300,000 house. How much is this going to affect your rate? Or
this won't affect rates at all
No.
this won't affect property tax bills at all because the tax rate's staying the same from this year to next year.
okay,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for explaining that.
Sure. And your point on the 2.9% is specific to income tax.
Right.
So that's the local income
Okay.
tax rate, and this would be property tax only. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I'm good.
There's a lot of moving pieces, and it's
Very
changing
so.
constantly,
Especially with regard to fire districts.
especially the road fire districts. That's right.
That's what concerns me because I just don't know what that's gonna look like yet, but I'll
Yep.
get there.
And there's been a lot of authority placed on this council moving forward that we normally don't have a lot to do with. So we're very new. We're just trying to step very gingerly.
And there's not a lot of good data yet
I know.
on AGIs and what appropriate rates will be. So everyone's
know.
going through that right now.
And it's probably all gonna change.
And
it's
it's all
probably
gonna
gonna
change.
So true, yes.
So
Some
thank
of
you,
it anyway.
thank
Yeah.
you for your
Yeah,
patience.
absolutely.
So if there's no further discussion, I'll be prepared to take a motion.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Myers for approval of a resolution 2025-03 and a second by Mr. Bates. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 5, which is approval of ordinance 2025-13, an ordinance regarding an additional appropriation by Nineveh Fire Protection District. Fund 8602, it's a special fire general fund for $25,000. We received lots of, we've all, I'm sure, has received and read lots of emails regarding some of the changes going on down with Nineveh. I just wanted to state that, the Nineveh Fire Protection District, this request for an additional appropriation is out of their general fund in the amount of $25,000. And it's cover the cost of additional or costs associated with a new building project and additional legal expenses. The general fund for them 8602 has a current balance of $400,975. So they have the cash to cover this. And that unless there's something different, that's what we saw as the request today. So, and if you'll state your name for the record.
Jacob Bowman on behalf of the Nineveh Fire Protection District for two purposes. One, of course, to ask you for approval of the ordinance that you have presented to you. And second, and perhaps more importantly, to provide you guys a little bit of an update as to what we've been doing and what's been going on. Obviously, there's been quite a bit of. Hear me okay?
Yeah, no.
Obviously, there's been quite a bit of discussion, publication, perhaps angry constituents out there regarding this project. Several months ago now, or a couple months ago at this point, the district proposed a build that was a bit too big for our britches, so to speak. You may have remembered a $12.7 million figure, a not to exceed number. Of course, that would be soft costs, construction costs, and a fire apparatus as well. We have revised that number. I do have new cost estimates that I'm not going to present to you right now because I'm still trying to refine those a little bit. But I will tell you they are substantially lower than the previous 12.7 figure. We plan to have some roundtable discussions with the public informally next week, and then move forward with presenting a new bond issuance and going through the steps again. So this won't be the last time, of course, that I will be here, or Jeff Peters, whom I think all of you probably know at this point. But we're moving in the right direction. Very proud of the work that the district has done, and proud of all the firefighters down there and fire department. They desperately need a new station. Obviously, we need to be cognizant of the cost and what that does to affect the taxpayers down in the southern half of the county, well, in Nineveh.
I toured along with several other people from this council, that fire department. And I agree with everything that you just said, but I also am a taxpayer, so I know exactly where everyone's coming from. But I did want to say publicly that this council has absolutely, sometimes it's hard to keep the governing bodies separate. And this council has absolutely, at this point, no input, yay or nay, as to what they do for the fire department, correct?
That's correct.
We are getting a lot of emails demanding that we take certain action, and just so the public will know, we are not in a position to take any action on what's going on at this point, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, just kind of wanted to, so if anybody else has any questions or anything before we move on, but this resolution here is, you have the cash to cover your obligatory bills at this point. It's $25,000. It's gone through the proper channels. I will support it, so
That's correct. And just for matter of clarification, it is an ordinance. It's not a resolution.
I'm sorry,
But
yes.
that's okay. And yes, there's sufficient cash on hand to cover this. I want to add, at risk of overselling a little bit, the district has been within budget for as long as I can
Yeah.
remember. So this really is the first additional appropriation
Mhm.
that the district has to ask this council, and
Correct,
any-
but it's just coming at a time.
it's coming at an
It-
odd time. Yes,
right,
I would
and
agree with that.
If your taxpayers don't know exactly what it's for, it's gonna be stacked on the other problems that you have, so,
But
Understandable.
yeah, we're glad to hear that you're having public input. so
yeah.
That's the best thing.
And we've heard the public. I
Yeah.
mean, we've certainly addressed a lot of their issues or concerns, I suppose. And like I said, we've substantially revised our plans at this point.
So, would you like to speak?
Yes, I would like to point out that I do realize this is $25,000 of cash that you do have in your general fund. Unfortunately for me, it comes after that big request and talk of a project that was, over $12 million. And it concerned me that type of a project came from a community that is so small and so taxed in lower value, not lower value, but tax base is small. That would even be a consideration. I think that was very arrogant for whoever proposed that to bring that forward. And given the constraints of that area, the money may not be there to build a new station. Yes, it is needed. It's not, from what I've heard, it's not safe to house equipment, let alone people. But perhaps an option is consolidation. Again, that's something this council doesn't get to decide on. That's something that's worked out, at your level with your community. But I just have a negative feeling about this, given the large ask of the $12 million for that community. I just can't believe anyone thought that was going to be a good idea for those people. They just weren't going to be able to afford their homes. That's the only comment I wanted to make for the record. I am going to vote for this 25,000 since it is cash on hand. But there just needs to be a better way.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any input or anything they'd like to say? If not, I'm prepared to take a motion for under E, other business, item number 5.
Move to approve ordinance 2025-13 as submitted.
We have a motion by Mr. Mallers,
Second.
second by Mr. Myers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none passes. Thank you for your patience and your explanations. It was very beneficial.
Look forward to working with you guys again and coming back and presenting some positive information in the future.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to old and new business. Item number 1, job classification and compensation maintenance plan. This is a discussion, and I have asked Michelle, who we were in a meeting together, if she would oversee this discussion.
Is this F1?
Yes.
it's F1. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the animal shelter.
It's 2 I want Michelle to do.
Yeah.
But she also have the animal shelter as well as their representative. My bad, excuse
No,
me.
that's fine. Yes, so Carrie from the director from the animal shelter is unable to present tonight. She has something going on, that's important. And as her liaison, I'm comfortable presenting this for you. So back when we did our job study before the budget hearings, she had one job classification that was incorrect, and it was for the deputy warden road commander. And when WIS classified that job, it got classified as a merit deputy. This is not a merit deputy position. So we always knew it was going to have to be corrected. There just wasn't enough time to do it during the budget process. I can say that there is no change to the salary. The salary, it still fits within the parameters of the midpoint in our salary range. So it's basically just to clean up an incorrect job classification.
And I'm to understand she also went through the channels that were set forth by this council during the
Yes.
budget process to get to this point to ask for approval.
Yes, that is correct.
Amy, did you have something you wanted to?
In the paperwork, it also says that WIS overlooked, it was a supervisory position.
Right.
So that was the main
Yeah,
issue.
yeah.
Oh, that was the main issue rather than just the merit.
Okay, so is there any other questions?
So the amounts are left blank. So
WIS, so the process is, I believe you guys approve the request that this gets sent to WIS. WIS then will come back with the guidance on the salaries and everything.
Correct. And if there is changes, then that will come before us as well.
I'm thinking based on the current salary, only the classification will change. But it's not going to affect the current salary as they're already paid above the recommendation.
Right.
Yeah, I can confirm that. This position is already above the midpoint, so.
So it'll just correct the classification moving forward.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, item number 1, job compensation and classification for the animal shelter. I am ready for a motion.
I move that we approve sending the job classification and compensation maintenance plan for the animal shelter. Oh, I'm not done yet. To WIS. Go.
Second. We have a motion by Mr. Mallers to approve item 1 under old and new business and a second by Mr. Bates. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Now moving on to council's discussion on longevity pay and a pay grid study for the 2027 budget. I had recently stated that this would have to be something that would have to be decided on in the November meeting in order to have this project completed by next year's budget. But after meeting with WIS, and I'll turn it over to Michelle, she'll give you the details. I think our urgency is not what I thought it would be. So go ahead.
Sure. So last week, council president and vice president met with Kent Irwin and Addie Roker from Wagner, Irwin and Shealy. We discussed longevity pay, pay grids, and salary ranges. WIS is capable of assisting in any way we need. However, we had a longevity pay study performed approximately 2 years ago. And it was a consensus that a new study would not be necessary. And that was the rush for tonight. Therefore, there is no hurry to make a decision regarding longevity pay at tonight's meeting. Most of that work has already been done. Individual pay grids that did not represent the entirety of county employees were identified as problematic and perhaps not the best way to compensate our employees. We also discussed salary ranges, and it was determined that it might be better to calculate those during the 2027 budget process after any cost of living adjustments are made. And that was basically the gist of our meeting, and they are available to assist us in any way that we need.
And and during that meeting, Michelle, they also say they were gonna take back all the information that we had given them and basically come up with a couple of scenarios, for lack of a better word, and we would meet again to
Yes,
see what they recommended based on what other counties had done.
yes.
So, I guess the point, as Michelle stated, we are not in an urgent position to take a vote on anything tonight, but we will continue to discuss and bring back to you what they request moving forward or what they suggest moving forward.
I just want to make a comment here that, while I appreciate, all the efforts to reach out and work with them and their willingness to work with us, I think this really stems back to that we need a county human resources person. We need to have our own in-house person versus always seeking out outside counsel that we're paying for anyway. So that's my comment.
Anybody else? Okay, if there's no further discussion, then we will move on to the final item that's been added to the agenda. And that would be the discussion of legal representation for Melinda Grismer. And at this point, we will ask, you had asked that Ms. Harder and yourself do the presentation. So if you guys would like to go to the podium, we'll get started. Hello, good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Before we get started, and we'll make sure that everybody gets their chance to speak and say and do whatever's they would like to do this evening. But I want to point out that we all had received your emails last week. I think there was a total of a couple. In order to bring the public, and that's why we're here to discuss it in a public meeting, up to par. The last email that you sent, basically stating why you want it on the agenda, I would ask that you read that, since it's your own words, into the minutes. I have a hard copy. I'd ask the secretary to get a hard copy for you in case you didn't have one with you. So that way, can you give her a hard copy, Amy? The public will be aware of what we're talking about in your words. So.
Okay, I do have a copy. I'll just read it.
And thank you.
Okay, so this is the email.
I need you to state your name for the record,
Sorry.
please.
Michelle Harder from Lexi Harder. This is the letter I tendered to the council. I'm going to read it. As I indicated in my letter to all council being legal representation, not this council, the scope of my representation is to represent Councilwoman Grismer with regard to her county emails that were deleted or otherwise manipulated without her authorization, a matter now under state police investigation, and to facilitate resolution of this matter. These emails were deleted or manipulated around the time this council censured her regarding providing information to our Attorney General. Ms. Grismer is entitled to reimbursement of her legal expenses because the actions and possible crimes against her were committed while she acted in her official capacity. Indiana law is clear in this regard. If wrongdoings committed in one's official capacity warrant taxpayer-funded representation, there is no doubt that a victim acting in an official capacity is similarly entitled. Had the council rallied around Ms. Grismer and supported her with regard to this investigation and cooperated with law enforcement, perhaps it would have made sense for the entire council to be represented by the same attorney. But that is not the case here, and moreover, at this time, we do not know who all is involved with this email situation. As such, Ms. Grismer is entitled to her own independent counsel, as her interests differ from that of the entire council. I'm not representing Ms. Grismer personally, but in her capacity as councilwoman, as her conflict counsel. The council should perhaps consult with its own counsel about that. I believe getting to the bottom of this email matter serves the taxpayers, and my involvement will ultimately save money and perhaps some embarrassment for the county. It is my understanding that both the prosecutor and the state police support my involvement. Please place this item on the agenda for Monday evening. You may contact me with questions. and then I sign my name.
Thank you. Before we move up to this end for questions or statements or things, I just wanted to ask if there was anything additional that you wanted to add, both you and Melinda, while you were at the podium and had the taxpayers' attention.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna add that we do have a little bit of an update on this matter. Since I've gotten involved, it seems that, knock on wood, but it seems like things are progressing towards resolution at this point. We spoke with the state police, right before this meeting, and we're expecting the special prosecutor to tender his final report on this. So since I've gotten involved, this matter seems to have been resolved rather quickly.
Michelle has been instrumental. Michelle has been instrumental to saving the taxpayers' money in this situation. If she had not gotten involved, those, the attorney fee that, Tiffany Costley had started out would still be incurring. So she's been instrumental in getting things heard, getting things moving along, getting people talking to one another, and getting this resolved. So kudos to Michelle. I mean, she's the bomb. I love her.
Anything else?
I don't have anything else to say. I welcome any questions you have.
Melinda, do you have anything else that you want to add?
Just that we were at a stalemate for what, 3 months? 2 to 3 months. And my concerns were not heard. I had no choice at this point but to involve outside counsel.
Okay. So are you both done with your presentation?
I think so.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to open this up for discussion. So we will start at this end with Mr. Bates and we will move along. I have prepared a statement and I will read that statement at the end. And it is a statement in my words, nobody else's. So when we're done, I wanted to do something because I know the public's listening and the journal is listening, and I want to make sure that we're clear on where we're going with this. So, Mr. Bates, I'll start with you with any questions that you might have.
I think I just have one question. From what I heard, I do not remember, maybe I have a faulty.
I'm sorry, can you lean a little forward to
I can. I said that what I don't remember, and maybe somebody can refresh my memory, I don't remember ever this council censoring anyone. So I know that was part of what you said, and I'm just clueless as that this council has ever censored anyone. And I don't even know it.
It was private, never to be disclosed. And as far as I know, this is the first time it's ever been disclosed and you were there. So, but that's not something we'll talk about here. Okay?
Sure.
Anything else? Michelle?
I did have a couple questions. In the email that you just read, the November 7th email that you sent to this council, you state, "It is my understanding both the prosecutor and state police support my involvement." Just to be clear, are you referring to Johnson County Prosecutor Lance Hamner and Indiana State Police Detective Paul Baker?
Yes.
Okay. Can you clarify how you came to understand their support of your involvement?
I've spoken with Detective Baker on numerous occasions about this matter. And then it's my understanding when speaking with Melinda that she has had discussion with our prosecutor.
Well, there was a point where I wasn't getting any answers. And so I didn't know who to reach out to. I was advised to get separate counsel.
Who advised you to do that?
It was Lance Hamner.
Oh,
He
okay.
didn't counsel me. He just said you need to go get separate counsel of your own. That's all it was.
Okay. I did have one more question. In that same email that you read, you infer that Ms. Griesmer's interests differ from that of the entire council. Can you give specific details how you arrived at that conclusion?
Yes. there's an ongoing state police investigation into this matter about her emails being accessed and deleted, tampered with, whatever you want to call it. And we don't know who's responsible. So I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but because we don't know who's responsible and they're investigating, she can't really be aligned with anyone else. Only her emails were accessed. It wasn't the whole council that contacted state police and said, hey, oh my gosh, one of our fellow council person's emails were accessed. It was kind of her on her own, and without knowing the results of the investigation, we can't really just assume that everyone's interests are aligned on this.
Okay, I guess it wasn't just assume, it was rather a bold statement that you just read to everyone in the audience that said Ms. Griesmer's interests differ from that of the entire council, and I just don't know that that's true. I just wanted to make that point.
Well, I feel it's true. How's that? Because I haven't had anybody reach out in support of me, even after the first email, when I was wrongly accused. So there you go.
So what you feel rather than it isn't exactly,
Well,
she
it's
said.
a fact, no one reached out to me and say, hey, I'm sorry you're
Yeah.
going through this, or hey, let's
Got
get
it.
to the bottom of this. I'm so sorry, this is ridiculous.
Do you have
Yeah,
any other
none of that
questions,
happened
Michelle?
toward
No,
me.
You have any
Thank
more
you.
questions?
Thank you for that.
Okay, Mr. Myers
No comment.
and sir?
Actually, Michelle hit with my question on the alignment of the viewpoints. I think that was an assumption made without the facts, but I'm glad you cleared it up.
Okay. Anybody else? Because I didn't want it to be construed as something that might have been meant one way or meant another. There's been a lot said. There's been a lot go on. I'm sure we haven't been privy to near probably what you guys have. I just wanted to say, for the record, that my thoughts and opinions are that some of the statements contained in Ms. Harder's email to the council last week, in my opinion, a lot of them are inaccurate and misleading. This Johnson County Council, as far as I know, has never authorized or approved the use of public funds for outside or personal legal counsel of any individual council member ever. There's no standing policy, prior authorization, or budgeted line item permitting taxpayer reimbursement for independent representation. The council has received no formal request, no scope of services, and no justification demonstrating a public purpose for this potential expense. Furthermore, the council has not been advised by Paul Baker, Indiana State Police Detective, or Lance Hamner, the Johnson County Prosecutor, or any other official authority that such outside counsel is necessary or supported. And any suggestion on the contrary is false. It has not been suggested to this council. This matter remains under an active investigation by the Indiana State Police. Until that investigation is complete, it would be both inappropriate and irresponsible for this council to allocate or approve any public funds connected to it. The Johnson County Council remains committed to transparency, accountability, and the proper stewardship of taxpayer dollars. So this is not a vote. This is a discussion on opinions, and until something is brought forward that is concrete, that, in my opinion, as president of this council, is the way I think we stand in protecting the taxpayer dollars. So I would never support that.
Well, I think the same statements that you made here will have to also be applied to Miss Costley and her nearly $12,000 legal bill that she took on, and it took initiative to start. So you'll have to take that up with her too.
Well, just to be clear, so that the taxpayers can understand the context, we're aware of a bill for approximately $12,000 for the county commissioners to hire an attorney in this matter, investigating Melinda's missing emails to, in the words of the state police, not cooperate with the investigation and otherwise delay it. So if Melinda's not entitled to counsel, then hopefully the commissioners are also not allowed to have counsel. But as a general matter in Indiana, I'll give you an example. Todd Rokita recently had disciplinary things. He actually did something wrong. The taxpayers footed that bill. Melinda didn't ask to have her emails taken. I would hope that each of you, if your emails were taken or accessed, would be asking questions, and that you would expect that if it was in your official capacity, that you would be entitled to have that paid for by taxpayers, because the taxpayers put her in office, and I'm sure they expect that emails they send to her are still there, and that emails she sends, she's able to access.
So hopefully when the investigation is concluded and that is properly given to everyone, then, you know, if you need to revisit this again, we can. So if no one has anything further, I say thank you very much for appearing. And I believe this will conclude our discussion on any items under new business. So I am prepared to proceed with the next item on the agenda.
Thanks. I'll be submitting my bill.
I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.